Okay, so this is an interesting update to what's going on in Egypt. I guess I'm going to do daily updates because it's such a fascinating story. Egypt, arguably the most important country in the Middle East, certainly the most populous Sunni nation in the Middle East. John McCain and Lindsey Graham actually demonstrate that they are somewhat sane compared to other people, just a little bit. They're still way off on Egypt, but at least John McCain did call it a coup. The Obama administration is going to all lengths to deny the C word, and they won't call it a coup even though it's a military coup, and that's just once again destroys the credibility of the United States. You know, you claim to be for democracy, and yet when there is an anti-democratic military coup, I can't think of anything that's a greater antithesis of democracy than a military coup, ousting a democratically elected leader, and you can't even describe it as such. I mean, the Obama administration on this count is just absolutely bonkers and insane. And of course, they're doing it for the obvious reason that once you describe it as a coup, then all military aid to the Egyptian military is illegal. And of course, they make the argument, well, we can't end the aid to the Egyptian military because then we'll lose all leverage with the Egyptian military. But that begs the question. If you had all this leverage beforehand, how did they know that they could get away with the military coup? Obviously, in my opinion, they were in constant communication with the U.S., and the U.S. basically said, go ahead and do it. We hate Morsi, we hate Islamist parties, so go ahead and get rid of them, and let's see what happens. That's just my conjecture. I'm not privy to any documents, but it seems that with all this leverage that we have, it seems that it could have happened. Now, going directly to McCain and Lindsey, yeah, they've described it as a coup. Yeah, they're calling for the Egyptian military to get rid of any political prisoners as a basis of negotiations. That is a sane policy. I was attacking them in my last video for calling for, the Muslim Brotherhood to get to the table, but they've got all their leaders and activists in jail right now. How are they going to get to the table? Who are they going to put to the table if all their leaders are in prison? And to his credit, Lindsey Graham pointed that out. That should be pointed out forcefully and more directly by every single level of government. But still, this is not good enough, in my opinion, because you are rewarding the usurpers. You are rewarding the coup leaders by saying that all of a sudden the democratic elections of over a year ago, the Muslim Brotherhood was elected democratically, all that can now be upended, and your coup is going to be rewarded because now there are going to be negotiations for new elections. Imagine if somebody were to commit a coup here, and then instead of going to prison, which is where they should be, you reward them by saying, okay, let's compromise and let's have new elections in about 6 months. I mean, talk about a horrible message. What's going to happen in a year or 2 years from now when the military isn't happy with who the Egyptian people select in a year or 2 years? Is there going to be a coup again at that point? This is insane. This is crazy what's going on in Egypt, and everybody seems to be okay with it. And certainly the Republicans and the Democrats seem to be going along with this just fine. A few dissenters here and there, but basically, again, it's a total and absolute contempt for democracy.